I honestly think the new Ghostbusters movie is going to be one of the most difficult movies to assess objectively in a very long time. Because it's neck deep in politics in a way that either way, whether you like it or you hate it, you're gonna get called names. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Izzy Nobri. This right here, guess what? The Izzy Nobri Show. So here's the deal. As you probably know if you're watching somebody like me, I'm guessing you like nerd shit. There's a new Ghostbusters movie coming out, and ever since they talked about the casting, there was some controversy. As you know, this is an all-female reboot slash remake slash sequel. They're being purposefully cagey about where this movie fits in with the canon of Ghostbusters. That's fine. When director Paul Feige, or Feige, I honestly don't know how to pronounce this guy's name because I hear a different thing no matter. Like, I watch a video and they're saying it one way, I watch a different video, they're saying some other way. I think the guy himself doesn't even know what his name is now. Right off the bat, the stated goal seemed to be, let's make Ghostbusters, but with girls now. And that's 100% absolutely fine. I know there's a lot of really misogynistic people on the internet that were up in flames over the idea of taking male roles and putting women in there. It makes no difference to me. I'm fine with it. To be clear, I'm not even a super Ghostbusters fan. Of course, I watched it. I had the toys. I love the cartoon. But I'm not one of those, you know what I mean? Like those people who really cling to the property like they own it and they get really mad if any changes are made. I'm not that kind of fan. So I was fine with it. I was completely fine with it. I saw the controversy. I thought people were being a little bit silly. Let's give this the benefit of the doubt at least. And let's wait until the trailer comes out. Right? Trailer is usually made up of the best parts of the movie that'll give us a good idea of what the good stuff is gonna be. Let's just settle down and wait for the f***ing trailer, alright? Well, the trailer came out and it did not help at all. If anything, it made things worse. The trailer is just flat out objectively not funny. That's the problem. I will say this though, The new theme song, what they did with the theme song, awesome. I was actually surprised that this has been a bit of a consensus around the internet. I checked on forums and Reddit and Twitter and all these things. I was expecting people to say, oh, and on top of everything, they changed the music. And I'm like, no, actually people liked it. I'm actually, if anything, I'm more excited for the soundtrack to come out than the actual movie because that song is dope. But that is, I think, the crux of the problem here. The movie, by all accounts, it's not looking too good. People on the internet have pointed out several flaws, so I'm not gonna bore you with going on the same retread that everybody else is doing. But I will say this, I think the main issue here is the fact that you will not be able to objectively criticize this movie or objectively like this movie for that matter because it's so it's dense with politics, with gender politics and with social activism politics. So if you like the movie, there will be a camp on the internet that's saying that you're just eating up the pandering and you're some crazy feminist and you're just out to get men and you whatever. They're gonna say this. If you genuinely like this movie, some people will be mad at you because they'll see you as the enemy. If you dislike this movie, on the other hand, some people will call you a misogynist, a rapist, a men's rights activist. You will not be able to either like or dislike this movie on merit alone. And that's the problem when you make anything with a certain agenda. Now, bear in mind, agenda, even though it's used usually in a negative connotation, it's not necessarily bad. An agenda is just a stated goal, is your mission, is what you intend to get out of this. And my understanding is that the goal here is simply to give women more representation in movies, and that's absolutely fine. But you have to understand, when there's a political selling point to something, it's impossible for people to enjoy it simply for what it is. People will read into the politics, they will read into the politics of people who like it, of the people who dislike it, and then we're left with a movie that nobody seemed to want a new Ghostbusters movie. Maybe that's why it's taken so long for a new one to come out. If you really wanted just a Ghostbusters 3 instead, the 2009 video game is basically that. They brought in the original cast. Dan Aykroyd wrote the script for the game, and he's gone on record to say this is as close as Ghostbusters 3 will ever gonna get. The thing with politics is it's really messed up because the internet in general dislikes the whole remake, reboot, sequel trend that Hollywood has been churning out for the last few years. In fact, I bet you didn't know this, but in 2011, something like 90% of the movies that came out that year were either sequels, remakes, or reboots, or based on a comic book or some other property. Hollywood is not putting out a lot of original stuff lately, and people have noticed, people bitch about it all the time. But again, for the political reasons that I've already mentioned, you are not allowed to do that with Ghostbusters. If a new Transformers come out, you can say, what the f***, a new Transformers movie? It's been shit. This whole time, this whole series has been shit. They're putting out a new one. They're gonna remake this or that, and people bitch and people moan, and it's just expected, it's just part of it. People just don't like them mucking around with these properties. Ghostbusters, because of the political aspects, you can't really touch. You're supposed to just, if you hate all of the remakes and reboots and sequels and all this stuff, Ghostbuster comes along, but it has this political baggage, you're supposed to just say like, no, it's totally fine. And that's unfair, I think. Personally, I will probably see this movie, and I'll try to be as objective as I can. Like I said, I don't care at all if they're swapping the main characters for different characters of a different gender, of different ethnicity. That doesn't bug me in the least. Now, this is a side thing, just for me personally. I don't super understand that need to see yourself represented in media, and I'll just give you an example. I myself am a Latino. I'm from Brazil, born and raised. Brasileiro que porra, gringo filho da puta! And whenever I see a Brazilian character in a movie, I go like, oh, I guess that's kind of cool. But to go out of my way to demand that, to get mad if there's not enough Brazilian characters, not enough Latino characters in a movie or a comic book or whatever, maybe it's just not as important for me because I have too much other stuff to worry about. I don't know. I don't understand the psychology of needing to see yourself in a comic book or a video game or a movie or whatever. I just flat out cannot understand. And I know some of you will probably counter that with saying, well, but Izzy, you're a white man, so you already get lots of representation. That's why it doesn't matter to you. And there's probably some merit to that. But I'm saying, as a member of a minority myself, a Latino, of which I think there's probably like, what, maybe 10% in Canada? I have no idea how many Latinos there are in Canada. I know there's not that many Brazilians. But anyway, personally, I just don't get myself. I don't understand that drive, that need to see yourself represented, to see yourself validated because you're on the cover of a magazine or because you're on a movie screen. I don't understand that. But let me know how you think about this issue. What did you think of the Ghostbusters trailer? Did you think it was awesome? Did you think it was crappy? Comments down below as always. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of this. And I think that's all the time I have for today. I'm Izzy, and I'm done. Oh, hey, remember that drone I lost? Guess what? I found it! Or rather, some dude found it. You know what? It's a long story. I'll tell you next time, all right? Next time.